This video is brought to you by the Dragon Slayer. Be sure to check out our website for additional articles, videos, and commentary. Welcome back to Game 3 in our match of Merfolk versus John, Doug Maull versus Brian Stanek. This game's winner will determine the Modern Monday event winner, the champion.
This is a true last match.
This is it. Then we get to go home. Or whatever we're doing.
Yeah. So, again, with a no turn one play, opening with the Lavamancer again. This, looks like both players are playing pretty fast. They just want to.
I think they just want to get out of here. It's pretty late. It's probably, almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
But, I think this is a pretty good opener again for Brian. The Grim Lavamancer did a lot of work for him Game 2 that he won. We'll see if he can pull it out again. So that's pretty good for Doug. I think
Silver Girl Adaptation.
Yeah, I think the Silver Girl Adaptation is always just a pretty solid play. 2 mana, draw one, pretty good.
This is what, 2-2, right?
2-1.
2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still not bad though.
So let's see. Pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I don't really necessarily mind this play because whatever Lord that Doug chooses to play or activate his Mutavault, Brian can fetch for a red source and activate his Lavamancer. So here we go, Curse Catcher. And, he might just choose to do that. We'll see. We don't really know what's in Brian's hand yet.
I don't think it would be a bad idea because, he's essentially 2 for 3.
Yeah, I feel like Doug just might have lured him into that play, though. Although Doug didn't play a third land, so he didn't have the opportunity to play a Lord, should he could have. And he didn't give away any extra information. He did reveal Curse Catcher off the Adept, so...
Right.
We'll see here. I don't know. That Lavamancer seems like it's going to do a ton of work. Also, Damnation in Brian's hand, which seems like it could be pretty powerful here.
I feel like it can go both ways, the Damnation. Because even though, you can put a lot of creatures... I guess it's especially good after Master Waves, but... To me, I just feel like, I don't know, Damnation just seems to me in all aggro matchups, it seems to me to be less good than the options available to you.
Now, do you consider Doug the aggro player here?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the Jund is more of a mid-range type deal.
Yeah, I think Brian is, regardless of what he's supposed to be, he's definitely assuming a more control-like role here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because these roles are all mixed up. It's like the blue player is the aggro, and the Jund is the...
This is a control player, yeah. Seems like Brian did miss a land drop here, too, so... we're probably gonna see this Mutavault come across.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's gonna choose to somehow kill it or do what, but
maybe he's got.
There you go. Oh, okay. That's actually not a bad play. I do like that play. We can now activate our Grim Lavamancer to kill the Merfolk of the Pearl Trident. That's definitely the play I was thinking. Brian still is in a tough spot though, because if he doesn't keep hitting these low curve spells and fueling his Lavamancer, he's gonna pretty much be out of the game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he has dropped a lot of major threats very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Merfolk deck just has so many threats all the time.
They're almost all at the same power level, so...
Yeah, every creature that Doug casts is pretty much the same card at this point. We'll see. Unfortunately, he can't draw an extra land. What's going to happen is if he can't effectively cast these low curve spells, he's going to run rampant and cast double Lords or multiple creatures.
Here it comes, yep.
So there's a cost for 3.
And this is really when I feel like the game will just start to tip over into Doug's favor, because not being able to draw the lands is just such a hindrance.
It really is, and you can see in Brian's hand, we do see the one lightning bolt that he has revealed. Not really much of anything else that we can see. We know he has a Damnation as well, and just no third land still.
Yeah, and see, this is why I think, in my opinion, I feel like the Damnation is better suited for a Drown in Sorrow at this point, because I feel
even an Anger of the Gods.
Yeah. I just feel like you just have much better options compared to pretty much just a black Day of Judgment. I feel like Day of Judgment is just far too slow already, so I don't know why it's better in Jund.
That's true. There goes a Tidebinder Mage tapping down and locking out his Grim Lavamancer for at least a turn. It's a really weird situation that Brian's in. I guess he can go ahead. It looks like he drew a Scavenging Ooze. He can go ahead and cast that Scavenging Ooze. Maybe try and advance his board state and just kind of pump it up slowly. He is, again, he's very susceptible to a spreading seas right now or anything like that. I'm not sure if Doug boards these out or not, but
I feel like a spreading seas would be. I feel like I would leave them in this matchup. The colors are very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how powerful Blood Moon is in the other matchups, so disrupting any of their mana fixing is definitely powerful.
So there comes the Lord of Atlantis coming in.
And he makes an Aether Vial.
So this is already looking very, very good for Doug.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just not being able to draw the land is really killing Brian.
And it looks like he drew... is that a land there?
I believe that is a swamp.
Some unglued land. Looks like a swamp from here.
I believe it's an unglued swamp. Now, what he'll do with it is... he might... Does he have Kolaghan's come out in his hand? I don't think so.
See, unfortunately, that's not a green source, because it's pretty relevant for him to be able to activate that ooze as much as possible.
Yeah.
Ideally, he would have liked to potentially also bolt this Tidebinder Mage, so that way he can reactivate his Lavamancer, but I think for now this is a good setup. He's definitely doing an effective job of killing these lords.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. For the position that Brian's in, he's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think Doug has, 2 cards in hand now?
Uh-huh.
And really not much action on the field. That Vial's not going to help at all for the time being. He's, in a pretty solid position right now. As far as the game goes, if Brian can draw maybe 1 or 2 more lands, we can actually start to see the Scavenging Oozes take over the game.
Yeah, and I mean, as before, Doug was really, shutting those down with the rapid hybridization, which he doesn't seem to have now, which he wouldn't even want to do at this point. There's not a lot.
Yeah, I have seen other interactions where Doug has turned things into frog wizards, and they have beat him down mercilessly. So, I think that is another argument why he has those Tidebinder Mages in there too, because he can lock them down if it doesn't interact with the creature.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not sure how much I agree with playing the Aether Vial there. I feel like the sort of the bluff would have been better, in my opinion.
That might be.
Brian probably would just play through it anyway, but it's always nice to have some sort of, backup, so to speak.
There gets to this certain point with the level of play, and you analyze your opponent as well, and you say, well, my opponent's probably good enough to realize that I'm bluffing at this point. Might as well put it on the table.
Tough too, yeah. That's why I said that it's, questionable maybe, but.
I think that's fine too, because also Doug can tick up his Vial to 2 and 1, then 3 and 2, and probably keep them at 4 and 2 for Master and the rest of his lords.
Yeah, those are pivotal.
So I think that's probably his game. I don't, he's not going to combat at all. We're just holding open with that Scavenging Ooze.
I'm a little surprised, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, though, he can only activate the Ooze once, and only one of the abilities. So what is it, 3/3? Is that really relevant right now?
Yeah, actually, I think because the Tidebinder is what again? A 1/1? Or
the Tidebinder is 2/2.
It's 2/2. So
it can become 3/3 potentially.
I don't think he would combine block, because I would immediately drop that Tidebinder.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it just shoots down anything else that would come by.
So he has Tidebinder in hand.
He would need a Master Waves would be ideal. Because even after all that, he would be able to just sort of take any sort of bowl or Kolaghan's Command.
Okay, so this is Doug's opportunity to flash in a Lord, should he have one.
And
you can take a quick read on that.
Now, one of the modes is Shatter, correct?
One of the modes is Shatter. I think we're looking for a damage and discard here. I think that would probably be the optimal play, assuming that Doug doesn't flash in anything. And even if he does, we can still eliminate it.
It's definitely tough decision.
Yeah, this is a very, very tight game from both players here. Brian has come back pretty hard.
Yeah, this is the kind of match everyone likes to see, where it's coming back and then it's actually coming back into a real tightly knit game.
Yep, and here we see Doug securing his place with that Grim Lavamancer, and looks like casting an Echoing Truth on Scavenging Ooze, keeping that off check and bouncing the other one as well.
Smart.
Okay, so that was definitely an interesting play. Not necessarily bad. Doug's on top deck mode, but he can cast anything in his deck now, no matter what, assuming that it's not a land. Now, granted, we don't know how powerful it is this way or another way, but hopefully he can somehow draw into something to advance his board state. And I guess worst case scenario is like a Silver Gill Adept as a mana sink.
I do feel like an Olivia Voldaren sort of seals the game here, though. So, I mean, Doug really has to hope to God that he doesn't drop one of those.
That's true. And, with Brian short on green mana, he is very limited to how many spells he can cast per turn given his hand. And, I mean, it looks like 2 of the cards, he has that Damnation still in his hand, and he has Anger of the Gods. And those cards are really not going to do too much right now. And, unfortunately, like the way Doug is drawing, that Mutavault is probably his best card.
Yeah. And trading with the Mutavault, which is probably what I would have done as well.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like I don't think we want Doug to have any evasive creature that is hard to kill.
Yeah.
Once that becomes a land again,
I'm actually a little bit surprised that Doug ran the Mutavault in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had a plan for that or not. Interestingly enough, the Curse Catcher itself is not going to be doing a lot of work either.
No.
Let's see, here we see an Anger of the Gods, which I think that's probably an appropriate play from Brian. That Tidebinder Mage is locking down his Lava Mancer the entire time.
Yeah, it might as well be dead.
It might as well be dead.
So, definitely a good play.
So here we go, you see a pass, and it looks like Brian's holding a choke in his hand as well.
Did he forget to scry?
Not on Anger, only on Drown.
Oh, Drown, okay. Oh, I'm thinking of the red, like, rare one.
Yeah, the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we see a Scavenging Ooze from Brian. And, yeah, this is an interesting play. That, I think I did see a choke in Brian's hand, which is a little awkward right now because those Aether Vials are pretty much loaded. So I don't think Doug's never going to need to tap islands ever again the rest of this game. But I don't see it as a bad move to play. I don't know what he's bluffing, but we'll see.
I'm a little... Why is it that Doug has the 1 Aether Vial on 4?
I think he's just holding it there for Master Waves.
Oh, that's right, it's 4, yeah.
I think ideally what he wants to do is get Brian in a situation where he goes to combat and then flash in the Master of Waves to, like, basically hold up. He wants... Basically, your creatures have flash.
Yeah.
That's the best way to deal with it right now. See, I still think... I think that does not hurt to cast this choke here, though. Like, I think it's probably good enough to limit Brian to to limit Doug what he can play.
Right.
Here we see End of Turn Lord of Atlantis from Doug, followed up by Master of Waves. Okay.
Just like you said.
Yep, here we go. So that's this will be 3 ponies. That's what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 power on board. And another Lord of Atlantis. Plus another... Wow, that
sort of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that did come out of nowhere, and I think Brian's just dead here.
Yeah, and see, this is what I was saying before with the Damnation. I just don't think it's...
Yeah, it didn't seem to do an efficient amount here.
Yeah.
Not only that, we did notice that, like, as we had mentioned before, that Merfolk does these tiny pushes.
Yeah.
It's not like just all of us, it's all of a sudden there's a bunch of stuff on the field in the late game. And I think, Doug appropriately managed his Aether Vials to
absolutely
make this work. So here he points out, he has another Lord of Atlantis on the field. And that looks like it's going to be game. So,
yep.
yeah, congratulations to Doug Maull. And that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.